story begins on the cusp of the Great Depression. Oscar Simpson was born to a wealthy home. His father, a successful stockbroker, and his mother, a charming hostess, and him and his twin brother, Harold.
Harold was just always the shining star of the two brothers. One story Oscar told was Harold had once come up to him before dinner and took his hand and said, "Oscar, I want you to look me in the eye. We should be grateful for all we have, because someday we might not have all this wealth." What have you heard about Oscar L. Simpson?
I heard he burned down his house while his family was still inside.
Times were tough. The Great Depression hit soon enough, and Oscar's dad, James, actually had all the family's money in the stock market. He lost it all, and this was just crippling to the Simpson family. His mother, now a single mother, she was trying to raise her children in a Hooverville, just trying to make ends meet, turned to prostitution, and this upset both of the children, especially Oscar.
The financial house of cards collapses, and the overinflated stock market plunges into a Great Depression. A financial panic grips the world.
In 1929, the stock market crashed, and Harold and Oscar's father took the route of many others and took his own life. This left the young 8-year-old children to fend for themselves in a dog-eat.
Kid, whenever.
What can you tell us about Oscar L. Simpson?
Well, I heard his father killed himself when he was 8 years old, and he didn't come to the funeral. And when they were looking for him, they found him in the back alleyway, and he was trying to drown 3 puppies in a 5-gallon bucket.
One day the boys got drunk. Really drunk. And Oscar was just a really emotional drunk. He let out all his... When Oscar was drunk, he could just let out all his feelings, and one day he just snapped. He was fed up with it, frankly. Harold was always bringing in more scraps than him every day, and Oscar let him know it. He let him know it that night. They got in a tussle, and Oscar knocked him out. Let him know his feelings. Sheila tried to stop him. This was too much for Oscar. Oscar, traumatized by Sheila's prostitution, was just thought Sheila to be an unworthy mother to him, and he let her know it too. Screaming at her. Eventually it escalated, and eventually the fight escalated, and Oscar raped her. He let her know how he feel. He said, "Mom, are you filthy whore, you? Is this what you want? Is this what our family is worth to you? Prostitution?" Oscar had a thing for fire. He, that night, he burned the shanty down. He burned it to pieces. Harold was consumed by the fire, along with the rest of the Simpson clan.
Good. After burning down his Hooverville shanty, killing both his mother and his twin brother, Oscar drifted throughout the United States for a couple years, just trying to figure out who he was. Eventually, he would join the war effort. He was stationed in Asia.
So what have you heard about Oscar Simpson?
I've heard he feeds dead bodies to his cats.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. until this point in Oscar's life, he never really had anything that defined him as a person. He had raped and killed his mother, and he had killed his twin brother, but that was it, and this person was not going to be accepted by society, and Oscar knew that, and that's why he joined the war effort. And he felt that joining the war would help him become a better person and help him truly find himself and find who he could be in society. He found happiness in the war when he was stationed overseas, and this happiness came in the form of a petite Asian lover named Chin Koo. Chin Koo truly made Oscar happy, and it's something he had never experienced before. They met one day while they were in Japan, and Oscar was taking a swim in the river during his time off, and he met Chin Koo there, and although there was a language barrier, Oscar soon learned the local tongue and was able to communicate with her, and they soon became fast friends. After they had met and acquainted themselves with each other, they soon became lovers, and this changed Oscar, and he became happy, and he felt like he could, after the war was over, take her back home and just live a happy, normal life. But unfortunately, this was not the case. Oscar decided to introduce her to his friends, and they didn't take well to this acquaintance of his, because they didn't trust her because she was Japanese. He brought her to the base one night, and they exchanged pleasantries, and they met and discussed, and soon they decided to do something that would ultimately change the course of Oscar's life forever. His friends, thinking they were doing Oscar a favor, tied up Chin Koo and forced Oscar to watch while she was tortured and killed. This may have been what finally pushed Oscar over the edge, and this may have set him down this dark path from which he would never recover.
Preceding the confrontation between Oscar and his friends, Oscar had been depressed for several weeks and was war-weary on the battlefield. Later, a staunch nationalist for the U.S. shot Oscar in the kneecap after learning of his transgressions. However, no one believed Oscar's crazy tale, and feeling betrayed by his countrymen, he was sent home. Back home, Oscar is nursed back to health by a charming fat Linda. What have you heard about Oscar L. Simpson?
I heard he eats babies. Thank you for your time.
While recovering from his knee wound from the war, Oscar met a young, tender, plump, nice nurse named Linda. After dating for several years, Oscar felt it was time to finally pop the big question. He took her to their favorite restaurant, the Golden Corral, and had a delicious meal. And their dessert, he got her Linda's favorite dish, tapioca pudding. While she did her traditional stir the pudding with a finger, she felt something hard and found a nice engagement ring. She was stunned and instantly said yes. This was the beginning of a new relationship for Oscar and a new period of his life. He then went to a new suburban area, Anderson Township, to build a house and start a new life with Linda.
What have you heard about Oscar L. Simpson?
I've heard Oscar Simpson keeps fingers in a basket in his back room.